What's up, fellas? Welcome. It's been a while.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
Right. So what have we missed?
Hopefully nothing about the Chiefs. It's all about the.
Why you did not have to mention that?
I figure you get that out of the way, man.
What else?
What else?
I don't know. I'm not sure at all what's going on.
So yeah, I think we got a new championship in Denver that's never been before. Yeah.
Ooh. Oh my Lord.
47 years in the making. That's
goodness
crazy.
Sakes. Oh my goodness.
So say it out loud. The Denver Nuggets are the NBA champions. The Denver Nuggets.
Ooh, that sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Oh my God, all those years of heartache. Man, it just feels good. It feels good, man. I know we were all, I don't know, I think we were all pretty confident that we were going to get it done this year, but we didn't really want to jinx it. And, we've been talking a long time about how if there was a year that this was it. But, oh my Lord, to see it right here, to actually be the champs.
Yeah.
Yeah. It
Exactly.
feels great. It feels amazing.
Yeah.
It feels like the first year the Broncos won, honestly, to me. That's how big it is.
It's big. No, it's big time, man. Like,
yeah.
Again, I posted not too long ago. When they were doing their playoff run, it was a picture of my old starter jacket from when I was, like a middle school kid. I had a Nugget starter jacket, had the big front pocket and everything, and that thing, I need to throw it away. It's dirty.
But you don't throw that away.
It's not gonna fit me no more, man. It's a large size for like a kid. You know what I mean? Like,
you're handing that baby down, bud. You're talking. You might have a Nuggets fan little baby. You know what I mean? Still,
sure. And it was back in there when they were wearing the what is it, maroon color and
the dark red, whatever the other blue. Yeah,
blue. Back when we had
the Kembe Mutombo years.
Mutombo, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf,
Robert Pack, LaFonso, Rodney Rogers. I mean, we got some old schoolers. Trust me. I know all of us were watching it back then.
And it sucks that was like the golden age for us, for Nuggets. This is like, what did that team? They beat
Seattle in the first round in 1994, and that was pretty much.
And that's it. They lost. That was
pretty much it.
Right? By the way, that's something I'll probably talk about later. But I got to go to one of those games with my dad, my pops, one of my yeah, man. Me and my brother and my dad, he took us to one of those games. Got to come up on some seats. And,
was that at McNichols?
Yep, McNichols. It was amazing, dude. That was like when I was obviously a fan prior to that, but that was one of the best memories as a Nuggets fan that I have. Obviously with my dad not being here no more, but that and this year them winning, it was huge, man. So yeah, going from that type of memory to this, memory this year of seeing it get done, it's just amazing. Like I said, people say they waited 47 years. I obviously haven't been alive that long, but since I've been old enough to watch basketball, I was a Jordan fan, but I was always a Nuggets fan. So along with being a Jordan fan, my team wasn't the Bulls, my team was the Nugs. Jordan got me hyped into basketball, so I will give him all the credit in the world. But then my older brother, he was a huge Nuggets fan, and I went with him on that. So I would say probably about 30 since watching basketball, 32 years, when I was about 5 or 6, something like that, when I was big into it. Long time.
Yeah, man. Same. Like
pretty much.
Growing up, yeah, same story. Everybody was a Bulls fan, right? Or the Dream Team and all that, for sure. Because it was the 90s. That's what it was. And then, obviously being watching the Nuggets, they had their moments. They had good players here and there, but they could never put it together. They were never a team that you're like, oh man, I'm hyped. They're going to, push through the playoffs. And it was never that thought, unfortunately, for forever.
Mm-hmm.
Like because I went through phases, right? So we'd watch them when we were kids, and then you know, I took a break for a little while, then I watched them again, and I stopped. Like when they fired George Karl, man, I was upset. Like I was really mad. Like that you know, when Melo left and then they fired George Karl, and it just felt like we had some momentum, and then it was just like, nope, that's as far as you're gonna get. We're just gonna knock you down again.
Mm-hmm.
And that was it. And then the whole thing with Jokic, and you know, that whole span, there was like a few years of just getting better and better, and I was like, oh man, this team, they're doing something different. Like they look different. They look, the moves that they were making, I mean, getting Aaron Gordon for me was one of the biggest things that they could have done to improve the team. But again, like all the injuries, right? Like even with Aaron Gordon, it was like, you don't want Aaron Gordon to be and then we got, you know, I think what set it all off, and I think Tyler, you'll appreciate this, was the moment we got rid of Will the Thrill.
Oh. Oh.
That's when championships was like, maybe we got a little bit of a chance here.
Yeah, I think you might have pinpointed. You might have pinpointed the exact moment when we became a championship contenders, when we, not just to put it on Will Barton, but I will, man. And pun intended, I will. You guys remember how hard I was hitting Will with our first couple podcasts, and it was just. It was just the dude. I mean, like I said, I don't want to go back at it, but it was just, and I called for him to be gone. And I think when we started making those moves, not just him, but when we made those moves, even I think you guys felt the same way, but we got rid of Monte and some other moves like that I was a little bit like, whoa, you know what I mean? Monte, and we're pulling in Ish Smith, we're pulling in KCP, things like that for these trades. And I was like, whoa, I didn't really want to get rid of Monte like that, but because I was a fan of Monte's, but KCP, that was a big time trade, getting him. That was something that helped us get to where we needed to be this year too. So Aaron Gordon, like you said, and then that KCP picking him up, Bruce Brown, that was huge. The dude, he came in and sixth man, you know what I mean? Not to mention our Rook Brown as well. Our rookie Brown, spelled Braun. That dude is a stud too. So yeah, a lot of pieces that helped out.
I think the big thing, and I mentioned this, I think a few years ago when we first started the podcast, when we talked about the Nuggets, it was always like, we don't have shooters. We don't have guys that can make shots, right? That was the problem. Like this is if we could have shooters, like we'd be all right, but we just didn't. And then we finally fixed that, you know, and it was crazy how it happened, because it was almost under the radar for me, because I was like, Caldwell Pope, like, really? Like, who, this guy? Like, this guy's, he's that good? And then you start watching games and you're just like, wait a minute, we got
to me he wasn't like a player to like wow you, but I thought, I mean, it was kind of what you said, like they never really had shooters. And you go back to that Golden State series they lost last year, in the previous year, biggest problem they had was really defensive perimeter defense and lack of 3-point shooting, which seems to always have been the problem with the Nuggets over the last 4 or 5 years. So you go in the offseason and right away you go get KCP, a guy who is known for his perimeter defense and his 3-point shooting. I mean, and just getting those guys to fight. I mean, getting those guys and plugging in those guys to fit into a guy like Jokic, who's obviously a pretty good scorer to say the least, but also could, I mean, one of the best passing centers in the game, and could just pick defenses apart with the way he could just pass the ball. I mean, his basketball IQ is just off the charts, and just to surround him with all those players, all those shooters, essentially. I mean, it's the best. I mean, that's the perfect team to build around a guy as good as Nikola Jokic. So,
I'm with you on that. And not only, go ahead, man. People.
And it's kind of just trades trades and pickups like that, where you realize that I have this whole like long rant I was going to get into, but I'll save that for later. But I mean, Bob, you mentioned about trading away Aaron Gordon, getting Aaron Gordon. I mean, who did they have to trade away to get him? Gary Harris, a guy who was beloved and still beloved as a Denver Nugget. I mean, those types of moves just showed that the Nuggets were. I mean, yeah, it's tough to to let go a guy and trade away a guy like Gary Harris. It's tough in the offseason. You mentioned, Tyler, about losing Monte Morris. I mean, we all liked him.
Yeah.
The majority of Nuggets fans liked him.
Austin
But
Rivers.
those are the type of moves you have to make if you want to be a championship team. That's just the bottom line. And the Nuggets for the last couple of years have shown that, yeah, I mean, we want to win that title. And we believe we have the team to do it. We just need to plug in players here and there. And sure enough, that's what happened. So,
and real quick, touching on that too, you said about, KCP, what we really need. And Bob, you brought up that point, and Sackor, you echoed it. We needed those shooters, but what we also needed was, I think you guys can agree, we needed a leader like that could actually, a veteran presence, a leader that could actually kind of lead the team. Like, I'm not saying Jokic couldn't, but I mean, we needed a winner. KCP came in, and I heard plenty of stories about how he was just sitting there talking to the team about what it takes to get to that, next step, to get to that championship level. And they would all, ask him and want to wear his ring, check out his ring. You know what I mean? Like, he was that person that you brought in that had been there before, and he was a veteran leader that we needed. Kind of like, even Jordan on the bench, even though he didn't really play that much, he was that veteran leadership that we needed to kind of keep that team going and tell them, hey, this is what it's like. Jordan hadn't won one yet, but it's just you need that veteran leadership to be able to corral the team, and I think they did that. That it goes under the radar what they did, regardless. We obviously know Jokic and Murray and Gordon and the rest of them, the reasons why we were at where we were at. But I think those are two big things on our team that really kept us going, and we're able to go ahead and, like I said, give us that veteran leadership and get us over the hump a little bit too.
Yeah, that's a young team.
Yeah,
I mean,
big time.
That's a really young team in terms of, when you look at it. So having that veteran presence like a KCP, DeAndre Jordan, even though he didn't win, and Jeff Green, same thing.
Jeff Green,
he's been around a bunch of teams.
Point.
Yeah, so all those players, they add to the locker room, and you could kind of tell throughout the whole entire team. Year, how much. Having those guys within the locker room, man. Just the videos that the Nuggets put out all the time. You could tell they really enjoyed themselves, like being around each other. And I know that sounds corny, but that means a lot. Really. It's easy when you're winning too, but just seeing that really showed how tight knit the group that they were, and you need that type. You need that while you're going through the course of essentially what turns out to 100+ games you're playing between regular season and the playoffs.
Definitely.
So,
yeah, man. Like, just the whole combination of players that they put together, you could see it out there. The way they worked together, the way they were just scoring and scoring and scoring, and their defense. We were worried. Like, I would say I was worried before they even entered the playoffs, right? Like, they were not playing well. We were like, oh man, we were talking about who's going to do better, the Avs or the Nuggets, because we were like, well, the Avs are playing way better than the Nuggets are at the end of the year, because the Nuggets were hurt a little bit. They were a little bit injured. The last few games really didn't mean a whole lot, but still they were coming out flat. They just didn't look like the team that was the number one seed in the West until they started playing the games in the playoffs. And you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, this is better than the best that we've seen during the year. And they're ready. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like, for me, the biggest, and I talked to you guys about this before, the biggest thing that got them over the hump was that the Suns series. I think getting past the Suns, man, with Durant, and the Suns they've always been a tough out for the Nuggets, and they're, to their credit, they're a good team and all that. It's just I don't know. I wasn't expecting the Nuggets to be as dominant, I guess, as they were. Like, I thought it was gonna be a much, much closer nail biter kind of series, especially with Durant.
So we had to get out of that Suns and 4 cloud, if you guys remember. I mean, that guy, the Suns and 4 guy, dude, like, give me a break. He haunted us for years afterwards. You know what I mean? That was ridiculous for a year after. And to just, they put that fear in us just because of that. And that was before they had Durant. You get what I mean? So we didn't know what we were. It was a very good point that we needed to get through that series. Obviously, our first series, we were kind of favored anyways. You know what I mean? It's not that they weren't a good team, but they, Minnesota wasn't ready at that point. Yeah, I agree with you, Bob, 100%. We had to get out of that shadow of the Suns and 4. We had to beat them. And when we beat them the way we did, I think it kind of turned the light on for not only us, but just the rest of the NBA and the fans, everywhere, saying, okay, these guys got a chance at this point if they just stuck them the way we did.
The way Game 6 of that series went down, that was, I never thought that would happen. And for them to just dominate them wire to wire in an elimination game like that, you knew the Nuggets were serious. Going back to the point Bob was making about how they weren't playing well at the end of the regular season, and then kind of just, I think they looking back on it, I guess hindsight's 2020, but they were just mailing it in. They were ready. I mean, after March, I went to the Memphis game in March that they won. That was the same game Jamal Murray ended up going to shotgun Willies, and well, we all know what happened after that. But
who hasn't been there before? You know what I
mean? Speak for yourself.
Right. I didn't bring the gun, but I was there for sure.
You didn't bring a gun? You bring a gun? Man.
No, I left it in my other pant pocket.
Yeah, there you go. But that game was close, but then the way they dominated in the fourth quarter, you kind of thought, okay, this team and Memphis, I mean, they were considered one of the better teams in the West. I mean, they were the second, yeah, they had the second seed in the day. But after that game, that kind of like Nuggets kind of slumped the rest of the month, basically. And I think they were just at that point, they figured, hey, we got the number 1 seed pretty much locked up. We're ready for the playoffs. And then sure enough, they play Minnesota, and first 2 games pretty much weren't that close. No. I mean, they were ready. So they were, and they took on the moment basically. So yeah.
And I think the one player, I mean, if you had to choose one player that was ready and showed out and never really faltered, for me, Jamal Murray, man. Like that dude, he was just ready for the moment, and he took it, and he was angry. Like he was
I was gonna say he played angry. No, he did. All the 20 games they played, basically, he played angry. Yeah, like he clearly had a chip on his shoulder, which is exactly what you want.
Yeah, and just the shots he was making, just like it was like even that one game he was off. He was like the first half or first 3 quarters of the game, he was just missing shots left and right, and then he ended the game, making a ton at the end to help seal that victory too. And yeah, man, he's like without him, I don't think obviously I don't think we win the whole thing. He was definitely that player that needed to score 30 plus points a game. Like he had to be that guy, because I don't know, like I don't think there was going to be unless they all played, really, really well. And they didn't. I mean, there was a couple games where, the secondary players, didn't do as well as they should have. And so the great thing about this team is that like when somebody faltered, another person stepped up, and Jokic was just always good. Like
that's always, he's a walking triple double at this point. Yeah, so I mean, you knew he was going to show up. And what was I going to say? There was a lot of talk last year, I think, with the progress of this team and how, again, you kind of have to credit the organization and how patient they were, considering all of the injuries that they had. This team has never been all that healthy until this year. Yep. Even last year with Jamal, I mean, well, even you didn't have MPJ and Jamal two of the three max players that you signed, that you pretty much believe that these are your guys. And it hasn't been that way for 3-4 years. And then a lot of organizations would have pulled the plug just, but I mean, they probably couldn't, but I mean, they stuck with it and believed what they had in terms of those players. And when they got healthy, they pretty much showed out and showed what we're capable of. Because a lot of people, there were a lot of fans out there that really wanted this team, especially in the offseason, to like get a major free agent signing.
Yeah.
And the best free agent signing that the Nuggets could make was getting MPJ and Jamal healthy. And sure enough, that's what happened.
So. And the other thing you mentioned, the organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Rockies, like it's crazy that they have 3 championship teams.
Yeah,
they had the Rams, the Avs, and now the Nuggets. Yeah. All the teams that they own.
And
don't forget about the lacrosse team as well.
The Mammoth, yeah, they won last year. They won last year, and they did, and that's a great point. They do own it. The Rockies, they do ownership, honestly, the way that you should be. You're providing the money. Just hire the guys that you don't know. You don't know all about these sports. You hire the guys. You hire the right people to be able to run these teams, and you just supply them with the resources that they need to build the team and the championships that you want. And they've done that essentially. Now, I know a lot of fans. I know he's also the owner of Arsenal, the English Premier League team, and they may not have the same thoughts like we have because we've seen in the U.S. what he's done, but still, for the most part, that's what ownerships should do. Is that you don't know everything, but you hire the guys that can do that. I mean, that know the sport and all you need to do is just put in the resources to be able to provide them with what they need to bring you championships.
The problem is, I don't think it's sustainable. Like, I mean, it's if it's, I feel like it's spreading a little thin. They own so many teams. I mean, obviously they've won 3 championships with 3 of their teams, and that's really unheard of. And it's hard to assume that it's just going to keep going that way.
It's
the Rams are declining.
Part of it, they do have a lot of money. So in terms of like, I mean, his wife is the heir of the Walmart company, and I mean, obviously they have boatloads of money. So I don't think that's ever an issue. But
and the Rams are declining. Like I said, they're still in it. Like they're not going to be competing for a playoff spot, but they're not anywhere near as dominant as they were. You know what I mean? Their Super Bowl year. We saw that last year. So
that's not a money issue. Yeah, and that's not more of a money issue. That's more of
that's performance.
They went all in. They put all their chips on the table to get that Super Bowl, and now they're kind of paying for it.
Yep. So now they're in kind of a
draft picks
stumble, rebuild, mini rebuild, type of area. So go ahead.
You think the Cronkies are, like, with all the teams that they own, do you think they can sustain at least one team champion every 3 years kind of thing? Do you think that's, I mean, obviously they've done that, but do you think they can keep doing it?
Well, luckily for them, they have two young dominant teams in the Avs and the Nuggets that are going to be for years. Like, we're set with young teams. What sucks about the Avs is obviously Landy's out for next year, but we just made 2 trades. We just got my guy from the Predators. I forget what his name is, but that was a nice sign.
Ryan Johansson.
Yeah, exactly. JoJo. Joey, what a good pickup that was right there. I was happy about that. I like seeing those type of moves. Like, you see that our stud Landy's going to be out. You go out there and you make something happen, and that's what Sackik's been known to do. Say, okay, let's go ahead and pull the trigger and get this taken care of, because they're competitive. So that's my point. They're very young. They're competitive. Nuggets the same. Look at our core. All of our maxes are still going to be there for years to come. Our max contracts. The only thing we're really worried about right now is possibly losing Bruce Brown. But, I would love to have Bruce Brown back. Trust me, I'm a big Bruce Brown fan. If we lost him, though, the draft picks that we just picked up, plus with Brown on the bench, coming off the bench, Peyton Watson hasn't even got a chance to shine. Like the draft that we just, like I said, saw, we got 3 new studs that we picked that everybody, I think we got a B+ in that draft. We're just young and ready to run, and nothing's going to stop that 2-man offense anytime soon. And when you got Aaron Gordon getting better and better, and MPJ getting better and better, the one thing I wanted to bring up about that MPJ, he got also better on the defensive end. Did you see that? Like his offense really slacked. With
this whole team did.
Defense,
especially him,
for sure. But that was the big thing. You guys remember that he was getting benched for his defense. Everybody played defense like no other. But even when MPJ was struggling with his offensive game, and everybody's like, "Man, we need him to start hitting," and I was sitting there yelling at the TV and like, "Come on, give me a break!" Those pull-up threes that he just runs up and pulls up, he was missing those. He didn't get anything. He get a nice dunk in there, slam it on somebody's face, and then you're like, "All right, that's gonna wake him up." But he just wasn't there. But his defense, no matter what it was, he's down there fighting for the ball on the ground, getting rebounds, getting those dirty rebounds,
especially in the finals.
Yep, finals. You could
tell he was frustrated with his shot, but he was still on the boards. He was still playing defense, and that's a huge. I mean, that was huge credit to him, because that would not have been him 3-4 years ago.
For sure.
That was the point. Like I feel like it sunk in with him that like even when he isn't making his shots, like doing what he does, he can still make an impact.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because he's just his length and his athleticism, he could still block shots and all of those things. And
what is he, 6'10", isn't he? What's he, 6'10"?
Yeah, man. Like
6'10", bro. 6'10".
Yeah.
And he's actually getting a little bit bulkier, you know what I mean? Because he was a lot skinnier the last 2 years prior to that, which is crazy because I guess he's on that vegan diet, but I think he just started incorporating
I think it's
meat again this year.
I think it's he's finally healthy.
For sure.
I think that has a lot to do with it.
Oh, big time, because you could probably lift, you know what I mean?
Stay healthy, I think
he could lift and keep that weight on, for sure.
Right.
I think he did start putting protein in this year. I think he said something about that, so that's good.
Yeah.
Nothing against vegans out there, but if you're going to put on some bulk, you got to put on that muscle. You got to protein it up a bit. I'm just saying for a drastic, obviously, vegans will have a lot more to say about that than me, maybe not agree, but look good, though. Look good.
So when did you guys think that the Nuggets were like really, I mean, like gonna push for finals and actually a championship? Because again, we've never experienced it before as Nuggets fans. Was there a moment in a specific game or any time during the season that you were? I can tell you mine. You guys can think about it.
I could say mine.
Yeah, sure. You guys go ahead.
So mine goes back to it was a regular season game, and I had talked to you guys about the Celtics. Is when the Nuggets were going to play the Celtics, and I think we had somebody out that game. I don't remember if it was Murray or somebody was injured or something, or maybe it was even Jokic.
I think it was Jamal. I thought.
I thought it was Jamal.
Yeah, and I was like, no, man, we're gonna still beat them. Like, and you guys were like, no, man, it's these Celtics are like legit. They are the ones in the East that are gonna, they're the test, really.
Oh yeah.
And then the Nuggets beat them. Like it wasn't like
they beat them handily too.
Yeah, it wasn't one of those things where it was like, we're gonna fight them hard and hopefully we'll keep it close. It wasn't like that at all. It was like, no, this is who we are, and we're better than you, and we don't need all of our players to get it done night in and night out. And that's for me was like, man, this team, man, I've never seen a Nuggets team perform like that. So
that's definitely good.
That's a good one.
What'd you get, Sackor?
Well, I'm going to be a little biased, I guess. Mine is a game that I actually went to. I kind of referred to it earlier. It was March 3rd, 2023. It was when they came national TV game against Memphis. And that was a tough game through 3 quarters. Tough offensively for them, tough defense. Well, not defense, but tough offensively. Like they they were down 8 at halftime. I want to say, 8. They were down 8 at halftime, and it was going to be. You would think it would be one of those games, but then they turned it on in the second half, and Memphis only scored 39 points. I mean, their offense obviously got on track, but defensively, especially in the fourth quarter, I mean, they only allowed 17 points to that Memphis team. I mean, for them to be, I mean, I think of the old Nuggets teams that when they're struggling offensively, not really having their game defensively, that would suffer as well. But they kept going at it defensively, and there were so many of those moments where they may not have been the best defensive team, but when they need their defense and need to bring their defense, they could do that. And this game really was one of those games that, this team is different than the previous Nuggets teams that we've all watched. Yeah. So coming out of that game, I felt, you know what? This team could really do something special because time and time again, they've proven that when the going gets tough, they are able to rise to the occasion. And that game specifically was a reminder of that. So after I watched that game, I thought, you know what? This team, I'd be disappointed if they don't make a run to the NBA Finals. So that was my game.
I think those are two, honestly, that were on my mind. The Celtics one in particular, when we talked about that was definitely something to where, we were already thinking that we were contenders. We were already talking about that, about we were coming out of the West and things like that. But I wouldn't say there's just one game, but I will tell you guys, the thing that got me was just how we coasted through the Western Conference regular season, and we stayed, basically steadily in first place. We weren't really ever really in jeopardy that much as far as on that. There was a little bit towards the end to where we were kind of having a little bit of a funk to where we lost to some teams that were, garbage. They were like the most horrible teams in the league. What was the Hornets? I think we lost to, and we lost to Bobcats or what are they? The Hornets, whatever they are. We lost to them. We lost
to a couple of teams like that. Yeah,
just teams that we wouldn't have.
There was one team that I think Nuggets lost to, and I think everybody started freaking out. I gotta find it.
It
might have been Charlotte.
Charlotte. That's what I'm thinking was Charlotte. I honestly want to say it was Charlotte. And everybody started saying, we were kind of doing what we normally do, type of thing, and everybody on ESPN, saying that we just didn't have it, and basically that it would depend that we needed to be worried about who we were going against in the first round. And you know what I mean? And there was a lot of fluctuation, you guys know, with that play-in tournament and everything. And everybody was a little bit worried, like, who are we going to play? Yeah, it would be nice if we didn't have to play this team around this time or anything like that. But for me, it was just steadily staying in first place throughout the regular season, handling our teams besides those couple games that I think Sackor's looking up. I think it was Charlotte. Definitely was the one I was thinking about.
It was two games specifically, I think.
Yep. Where people were
lost to San Antonio. Lost to San Antonio.
San Antonio was one of them. You were definitely right about that.
128 to 20.
Yep.
And then lost to Houston.
Okay, that's I don't know where we got Charlotte in there, but it was Houston.
The Houston game was when I think people were like, why the fuck are they losing to Houston?
Exactly. So that was kind of it was kind of, for me, was just staying in first place and then not really, worrying about who we got in the first round in the play-in or anything like that. And we handled business the way we did. Minnesota, I was worried just because, guys, we've been there before. We'd never been out of the Western Conference to get into the NBA Finals. I was worried every single playoff series that we were in. I was worried out of my mind, no matter what. But
because they've never been there.
Exactly, because we've seen it.
That's really
with the Melo, with the Melo teams and getting there and getting stomped by the Lakers. Looking at all of those replays of us getting bounced out, it was by the Lakers pretty much every single damn time. And that's why it was so.
That's a fact.
That's why it was so damn sweet. You know what I mean? Me and my friends were so pissed when we got beat by the Lakers, when we had Melo, and there was, you know what I mean? We had the 80s, teams.
The Nuggets in the 80s had some great teams.
And we got beat by the Lakers even then.
Twice.
Exactly. The Lakers.
They had one of their best seasons in the late 80s. And who they face is Magic Johnson and the Lakers, and they go on to win their second title in a row. It's just
they've been that thorn. They've been that thorn.
Yeah,
trust
they
me.
really have.
George Karl, he was talking crap about Kobe that time, and it lit that fire. And Kobe just came and lit us up in the playoffs, and made me cry, made all of us cry. Give me a break. I mean, I was not really able to let go of a deep breath about, hey, we got this, until just that last, game. That's how unbelievable it is because how long we've been waiting, and we don't want to jinx anything. That's how I was. I was like, I can't jinx anything. I can't.
Well,
we've never seen this before. So,
and for me, same thing. Like watching that series against the Lakers, the way we beat them, the way
the sweep.
Yeah, man, LeBron, right? Like, so here's the thing. Like, LeBron, obviously, like the Lakers have always had like superstars, right? And LeBron was no different. He was a superstar for them. And this year, man, it's just seeing how we beat them and seeing how like it was a complete team thing. And the Lakers had like 2 to 3 guys that any given night they could do good things, but they couldn't put it all together. And you could tell it was frustrating them the whole series. And the Nuggets were just going about their business. They're like, yeah, man, we're just going to keep playing. Like, we'll see what they have for us next time. And, and you could tell that the even when they were doing the interviews, that they were trying to hype them. The Lakers were trying to hype themselves up and be like, yeah, it's only one game, or it's, we got more. We're going to come back. The series isn't over, that kind of talk. And it's like, no, man, it's
over. Oh, it's over.
Like you don't have the horses to do it anymore. Like our team is much better, and we have. I mean, Jokic is better than anybody you have, even LeBron.
And that's what you get, LeBron. You ever pick Nikola Jokic last in the NBA All-Star game again, you freaking bum. He was going to pick him last. Like, he probably wasn't even going to pick him that last pick if Jokic didn't get up and go over there and, like, kind of just make it be known. Dude, don't disrespect the best player in the damn NBA. I don't even give a crap if he's not an exciting all-star player, dude. You pick him first or second if you're even thinking about winning, man. That dude is legit the best player in the league. And you guys know more than anybody, I'm sure we're all biased, but he should have won not only NBA Finals MVP, but he should have won the regular season MVP again.
I agree, but the way it all played out this season,
it was a chip on his shoulder making him go for this. You're right, but
I would have. I mean, he has. If there's any MVP award that I would prefer he get, I would rather hands down have him get the NBA Finals MVP than just the regular season MVP.
Oh, hands down. You're right about that. So, you're right. There ain't no lies detected.
Nobody could debate that.
No lies detected on that. You darn right. But give that boy his due. He should be 3-time, and the only reason why he didn't get it is because he didn't have the championship. You know what I mean? Now he's got the championship, and then he would probably, now they'd be like, okay, maybe now
they made up so many different excuses.
They did. They didn't want him to be on the Larry Bird.
They just didn't.
They didn't want him to be on the Larry Bird level, the Wilt Chamberlain level. You know what I mean? And also, they didn't want to piss off Joel Embiid and freaking all his fans. Look, Joel was definitely a beast, and it was definitely a tight race between those two. But
he was worthy of it.
Sure.
My issue was they had to bash Jokic to get to that
exactly
point.
Right.
That's not
exactly right.
And that's not how you do it.
That ain't right at all, man. It ain't right at all.
I think as Nuggets fans, my big thing was, you guys talked about the media and all that too. Just watching them fall over themselves, like making mistakes and like catching them in their stupidity for like, oh, maybe the Nuggets are good. Maybe we should talk more about them. Maybe they're for real. I don't know. Where are they from? Like,
yeah, you mean that farm team over there? What, that farm team, man?
That team in that Cowtown. Yeah, exactly.
It was bad. Like, it's crazy. It's crazy how much hate, not just hate, but like lack of respect.
I say this every year about NBA media. By far is the worst in terms of their sport. I mean, worse than NFL by far. NHL, Major League Baseball. Most of the people in the NBA media don't know what they're talking about because they only watch 5 teams every game. They just watch 5 teams, and then they say what they want in terms of they basically think just watching those 5 teams that they know everything and anything about the NBA,
Mm-hmm.
and it's annoying as hell. And it's just,
but guess what? Let's add a team to that now. At least
they should.
If
you really like basketball, like the Nuggets are a fun team to watch if you love the game of basketball.
Yeah.
Oh, and we're in the picture now, man. The respect is going to get taken now. That's the thing. You could try to leave us off the list, but now you have analysts that are giving us the respect that we deserve. You have JJ Redick going to bat for us. You got Stephen A. Smith. You got Charles Barkley repping us all year long. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to get our respect regardless, and that's the thing.
Charles Barkley was saying it all year.
That's what I mean, all year long. And when you got Sir Charles picking you, you know what I mean? Your team's going to get them views. I mean, and we're finally getting that respect, and we're going to be there for a long time to come. And it is well deserved. It's a whole team thing too. I think Sackor, you had brought it up earlier, and Bob too. It's like everybody on that team, there was no selfishness at all. You know, as corny and cliche as it sounds, like everybody was just about winning and helping that team and camaraderie and everything like that. Malone and his 1, 2, 3 family, freaking everything after the game. That might have been corny to some people, but that's kind of how they played the game, honestly. And, you know, who knows if it helped, who knows if that was the reason or not, but I'll tell you, they were an unselfish team. They played team ball. Next person up, MPJ would take a seat down, come out and be like, hey, or he would tell him, because I'd hear those interviews and stuff. And Malone said, he goes, hey, MPJ came up to me one day and said, during the game, he said, hey, put Bruce in. If I'm not helping the team win right now, put Bruce in. You know what I mean? That's not something homeboy would have done last year or the year before that. That's the things. That's the growth. That's the team play. That's what you need. Yep. Maturity, exactly. And that's what also those veteran leaders help you. You know what I mean? DeAndre off the bench. I'm sure he got in his ear. And KCP winning a ring. I'm sure he told everybody this is the type of sacrifices you have to make. That's it. Unselfish squad. Beautiful team. Like I said, I can't tell you. This is right up there with me with the Broncos winning their first one because we've waited so long for this, honestly. So, and I know it's right up there with Bob with the Broncos winning their first one too. You know, Bob loved that one as well. Bob loved it.
Kind of spoke about like what this title means to us and whatnot. Just watching this team all our lives for the most part, and like. I mean, this team, this was a franchise that had 11 wins in a season.
Ooh,
I mean,
that was a beaut.
You talk about cringing, drafting guys like Rafe LaFrentz and Nicole, I can never say his name, but not Jokic, but Nikola Tivalishki.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
Oh, yeah, man. But, give me a break.
Yeah.
Or Marcus Camby over All-Star or people that are going into the, you know what I mean, the Hall of Fame. Sorry, Marcus Camby.
Right.
We passed up on some amazing players.
Yeah. After the Carmelo years, thinking about we finally get to that point, and then Carmelo ends up wanting to get traded and then taking Chauncey Billups with him, and then getting Brian Shaw and the disaster that was, and then to getting to this point. I mean, I personally never would have thought to see that the Denver Nuggets are NBA champions, and that's still sinking in at this point because I'm going to enjoy it for sure this summer. But man, it's just.
Oh, speaking of which, where are your drinks, fellas? Like we gotta be celebrating, right?
I have to go grab what I got right here.
I'm just drinking water because these last couple of weeks I've celebrated too much these last couple of weeks, so I'm taking it easy this week. So I'll just put it that way.
Going hard in the yard.
Well, you guys talk for a second. I gotta go grab another drink. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah. Okay. Bob. I wonder what Bob's drinking on, man. That's one thing. You know how many jerseys I lost with the Carmelo trade? I lost I think it was 7 or 8 different Melo jerseys I lost when he
that's bad.
Yeah,
okay.
Dude,
oh gosh.
I was such a huge Melo fan. Okay. I watched him when he was at Syracuse, you know what I mean? And when he won that title.
Okay.
I was hyped because I knew we weren't going to have a chance to get LeBron. So when we were getting Melo, I'm like, dude, we're there. He's going to make a contender. You know what I mean? And he did.
Yeah.
He did.
And he did.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He definitely did. But
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think we just weren't patient. I don't think George Karl was the right fit. There was a lot of things with that. There was a lot of me players, not that they weren't good, you know what I mean? But as a team, we just had a lot of individuals rather than the team in those different times. There's no way we were competing against Kobe's like team and his dominance and things like that at that point when we had so many just one-on-one players and things like that. There's no way.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just drinking some Cayman Jackets margarita.
Oh yeah, Cayman Jackets.
I've had that. Yeah.
Are they sponsoring us now? Is that what's going on?
No,
not at all.
I have to put it in a koozie though, but
thank you. Please do that. Get us in some trouble.
I know,
what about, dude? It feels so good to be the champs, even when our hats are misspelled. You know what I mean? We don't even care. Champions, we don't even care, but that's how good it feels.
I thought that's kind of funny. Yeah,
that's why I'm like, I don't know if I want to get that hat,
dude. I feel like that's the reason why I got it, man. Because I was like, dude, heck yeah, it don't even matter. We need to get them messed up hats. You know what I mean? Because this is a part of history right there.
That is true.
And they're cursive.
Yeah, cursive, but they're still sweet. Besides that one little mess up, they are sick. I like them.
Yeah, I do.
And
like,
the shirts
I do like
too.
to see coming around.
I gotta get the shirt. I gotta find one this weekend. So
legit.
And then I just have not had the chance to get the Dick's Sporting Goods.
My other shirt for our other championship team.
Oh yeah. Oh my god, that looks good too.
Yeah, it does.
So, like I said, I think the last time we were on the podcast together, I said that I might be able to see 3 of my favorite teams win championships, and it happened, right? That's so crazy for me. Like if you told me 10 years ago, right? Nuggets would be champions, right? Like nobody they would have laughed you out of the room, right?
Just on that alone.
Oh, yeah, that's facts right there. Give me a break.
even and I don't want to bring it up. I'll just bring it up this one time. But even the Chiefs, right? Nobody would have.
Yeah, they would have laughed. They would have laughed.
Yeah,
too
absolutely. Pre Mahomes, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Matt Castle days. Get out of here, right? No way.
Yeah.
But now we got the Nuggets and the Chiefs, and then the Avs too, and
the Mammoth. I know you're a big Mammoth fan.
No, I don't. Like
Give me a break. We didn't even. I think Sackor's the one that. Hey, no offense.
Sackor, but, I think did Sackor go to? Did you go to
I've never been to a Mammoth game, honestly.
No,
I just know that.
Championship. Sackor brought up the name.
Yeah,
exactly. Sackor brought up the name.
Yeah, I've never been to a game. I have a coworker that always talks about the Mammoth and says they're fun to go.
That's what I'm saying.
I've never gone, but yeah.
Give me a break, man.
I can't take much grain. I gotta take what he says with a grain of salt. He's a Raiders fan, so.
Oh well, in that case, we've already spent too much time talking about him. Then
there you go. So I'll leave it at that.
There is one team we haven't talked about yet, and
I feel like I know what it is. Do we have to?
No, Sackor, you'll appreciate this. So I went the other night. I went to it was the George Strait concert, right? With
I knew you were gonna go with this.
And so I look on my phone and I see this thing from Sackor. It's a beautiful picture of him that we're watching the Rockies game.
Oh man.
And so I'm like, oh, that's cool. Sackor's like right down the road. Let me see what the score is.
Oh Lord.
It's like the 4th inning and they're losing
25 to 2, 25 to 1.
20 to 0.
It was 21-0 after 4 innings.
Oh my Lord, man.
All I could do is laugh.
That was bad. I was
craziest. That was unbelievable.
20 was it? 23 to 1 was the final score, or 23 to 2?
25 to 1.
25 to 1.
25 to 1 with a home run by the Rockies.
Oh man,
that was after I left. By the way, I left when it was 25-0. I'm like, and there was a guy sitting next to me in our crew. He was sitting next, and I never met this guy in my life. Drunk off his ass, he wouldn't leave me alone. talking, trying to give me fist pounds, trying to give me hugs. I'm like, bro, leave me alone.
Was he a Rockies fan?
Yes.
How many fist pounds could he possibly get you when we're getting beat by 23-1? Man, what are you guys?
5 an inning. It was at least 5 an inning.
What are you guys fist pounding? Like, oh wow, they only scored freaking 12 on us that inning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, I understand getting upset over a guy giving you fist bumps when your team's getting their asses kicked.
Yeah, give me a break,
the Rockies, man. So that's what it is for me. The reason why I bring up the Rockies is because that's what the Nuggets were for a long time.
Yeah, they were. Absolutely.
Basically, it's the same thing. It's like, yeah, the Rockies, you know, they have their moments. They're fun to watch, but you're never like, oh, they're going to win a World Series. No. Like, they had their magical moment, and, you know, they had their run, but then they got swept when they went to the World Series.
Yeah, I know.
Goodness
but
sakes.
You know what I mean? That's what it's like. That's kind of the reputation for the Rockies and the Nuggets, but not anymore. Right?
You're kind of right, because at least the Rockies made it to the big show. We never made it to the big show, honestly. The good news is that we are undefeated in the NBA Finals, fellas. We are undefeated in the NBA Finals. It's facts.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? It's factual. So that's a big time record. I'm going to go ahead and throw around until that's not the case anymore, which hopefully will never happen.
In the playoffs too was pretty impressive too, right?
It was. You know what's funny? It was the same as the Avalanche last season. 16-4.
16-4.
Nice.
16
that's
wins.
Awesome.
That was a beauty, man. We had a nice run. You know what chaps my ass, though? You had, and then, well, sorry, because I obviously watched all the shows afterwards after we win just to see what people had to say about us and stuff.
I don't, yeah, right.
But then they started making some excuses about, oh, look at their path that they had to get there. They had to play 3 play-in teams. You know what I mean? And then now 3 play-in teams in that whole thing. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Because they were counting us out against, first of all, they were counting us out against Phoenix. Everybody was picking Phoenix.
Oh, everybody was picking Phoenix.
That's what I'm saying. So everybody's picking Phoenix. The Lakers. There was a bunch of people picking the Lakers because they got on that hot streak, and that the Lakers just took Memphis out. So everybody's picking the Lakers. Plus the Lakers had smacked us in how many you know what I mean, Western Conference playoff games we played them against. So that goes. Then we get into the finals, and they're saying, "Oh, it's playoff Jimmy. It's the Miami Heat." Kendrick Perkins yelling that they're going to take us out. Oh, there was a bunch of other sports analysts saying that the Nugs were going to get beat too, that we just, you know what I mean, that we couldn't take it in the big game. And so we finally win this thing, and now they start hitting us below the belt on that stuff now too, saying, look at the path they had. Look at the path they had. Shut up, you bums. We're champs. Put that in your pipe and smoke it, like Mike Malone's shirt said at the parade, which was amazing, dude. Another thing, Mike Malone deserves some respect on his name, because that dude was G'd out, my man. He was drunk as a skunk.
Oh man. He at the time, man.
Drunk as a skunk. He was throwing up gang signs. I think I saw him crip walk.
He put on a Hall of Fame performance at that parade, man. I already like that guy, but
he went above and beyond that.
He went above and beyond, man.
Me and Sackor met up
with that chain.
Oh yeah,
yeah, buddy had Aaron Gordon's chain on. He was flousing.
If the Nuggets sign him to a lifetime contract right now, I'd be perfectly fine with that. Especially after that performance he put in that parade. That was
amazing.
Well, it's so funny to see a coach act like that. You know, you think it's usually the young players, right, that are doing that kind of crazy stuff. You know, it's not somebody, it's not your head coach, right? Like, you don't see Andy Reid doing that shit. Like,
no, give me a break. Oh, heck no, that ain't happening. Andy Reid, he would have been out of breath, man, if anything was going like that, man.
It's funny though, man. He did good. He did good. He talked so much. Like, it was so funny because it's like he would have his turn to talk, and then other people would talk, and then he'd jump right back in.
You know how many final thoughts he did? Like, you're supposed to have a Jerry Springer final thought. That dude jumped back on the mic like 6 times, but he was like, "Wait a minute, one more thing." And then everybody was there for it, but eating up every word. One thing I do want to say: amazing memory from the championship win when Aaron Gordon went outside of the Pepsi Center or Ball Arena and was jumping through the crowd, like on the streets, rolling with everybody shirt off, just his Nugget shorts on, his game shorts, and he was out there just in the mob of people. That was a memory that's always going to stick with me because that is just huge. That dude loved it. He loved everything about it. That's how much it meant to him. It was just amazing. That's how I felt, man. That's exactly how I felt. If I would have been out there, dude, I would have been downtown rolling with Aaron Gordon. I would have been buying them shots of freaking cheap ass freaking liquor, bud. Cheap, because that fool's rich. He should be buying the shots. But dude, that would have been
I realized
sick.
he was right by, that was a block away from my office.
Oh,
I was so
man,
pissed.
that would have been so sick.
Didn't you see the rookie? Didn't he go into the bar?
Oh yeah.
Chris Brown?
So after the parade, we were just sitting on one of the booths on the patio, and all of a sudden we hear this huge like cheer from inside the bar at Jackson's. I'm like, well, I got to figure out what's going on. So I went back in the bar. I saw Christian Brown started going towards the stairs to go upstairs with he had the WWE belt with him.
Oh, you darn right.
So of course I had to grab my phone and videotape him through going upstairs. Sure enough, he's up there. They have the huge dance floor at Jackson's and whatnot out in the patio. So he was out there with everybody. He was pouring drinks to people. It was a crazy time, to say the least. That was before they went out to Vegas a bit, I guess, that night. So
before they went and tore it up out there, bud.
Oh, yeah.
Did you? So I obviously I had to work that day, like later in the afternoon, so I couldn't get all drunk, which I wanted to. But I didn't really notice because I've been to a couple parades, right? Like not recently, and I didn't notice a bunch of like super drunk, wasted like Nuggets fans, like older crowd. Like that's what I was kind of hoping for, is to see, because that like there's Nuggets fans, lifelong Nuggets fans.
Oh yeah.
That like this is like for us. I mean, obviously, but like even people older than us that are just like grandparents, or like they have like kids and stuff. And like I was hoping to see some like kids carrying around their drunk parents. Just all messed up,
I saw it later on in there was some girl. Poor girl. My gosh. She had to be carried out by 3 different people. It was so bad. Oh, that poor thing. But you're right. There wasn't that many like
just tossed like
just drunk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I think more people were just I mean it was an awesome atmosphere. I gotta say, like everybody was chill. Like it didn't feel like, it felt like the Avs one too. It felt very like everybody was cool. It didn't feel overcrowded either. Like despite how many people were there.
Yeah, I know.
And,
right.
The weather actually, it didn't rain. Like it felt pretty good, or at least when I was there, it didn't rain.
Yeah. It was great. All. I mean, it
was a
weekday
too. You know what I mean? Like I'm sure if it was a weekend.
That's the other thing. Yeah.
If it was a weekend,
they probably do that. They probably do that on purpose too. Yeah. Because if this was a Saturday night, shit.
Shoot, they probably did it for Jokic. He said, "Winners parade." Oh no. Hey, dude, my dude, he was.
But he enjoyed himself at the parade. Though.
Oh, he did. He did. He's like, I didn't want to go to the fucking parade, and he's like, oh, I want to be at the fucking parade. That dude, love him, bud. Everything he does on the mic is classic. And I think like you and all of us could just rave about him. And it's funny because Bob brought Murray up earlier because you said, we couldn't have done it without Murray. Absolutely truth. But we all know that we have the best player on the planet in Jokic. So we didn't have to go to that point and say it's because of Jokic, the reason why we're here. I'm not saying, there's no way of saying it's only because of him, but he is the biggest part. You know what I mean? He made the other team better. He makes Murray the person the player who he is. You know what I mean? And yes, Murray makes Jokic the same way. They're a 2-man game, but I will tell you, Jokic took us to the playoffs when Murray was out. You know what I mean? He can take a team a lot further. You get what I mean? So I don't want to take anything away from any one of those players, but Nikola Jokic can make a team a contender all by himself, just the way he plays the game.
That's what he did the last 2 years. That's essentially what he did.
Number 15.
I mean, shit, if you have shooting guard, you have Will Barton instead of KCP.
Man, the stud. You got to get him named in this podcast again.
Number 15, making shit happen.
That's what happens. Right there. Oh, yeah. My guy. I never thought I'd love 15 again after Melo burnt me like that, because I was the biggest Melo fan, like I said, man. And oh man, Jokic definitely healed my heart.
I thought that was that was it. I thought, man, Nuggets ain't never gonna do it.
Oh, you kidding me? We
Nuggets
all
never
felt
did
that
do
way,
it.
man. It was kind of like the Arenado
then-
trade for the Nuggets type of thing. You know what I mean? The Melo trade was the Arenado Rockies trade. You know what I mean? It's that type of thing where you're like, oh, great, we're screwed. It doesn't matter. They gave up. You know what I mean? They gave up. And
pretty much, yeah.
Give me a break. That's what we've had to deal with all this time, was just like worrying about ever being able to get over that hump. And I think how the patience that we had and everything regarding that, you guys touched on that earlier, the patience that we had to draft the people we needed to keep Jamal when Jamal was worried when he tore his ACL. He asked coach if Malone, if they were going to get rid of him. He said, no, you're ours. You know what I mean?
I heard that. I almost cried.
Yeah, you darn right, man. And just seeing his emotion, you know what I mean, afterwards, Jamal's, that was crazy. Obviously, Jokic is a cyborg. He has no emotions at all. But, you know, you got Jamal who's actually crying. Jokic, like, if he had shed a tear, he'd, like, short circuit. But, I mean, Jamal was heartfelt, man. Like, you could tell. He kind of had that Jordan moment when Jordan fell to the ground and you know what I mean, was clutching the ball after he lost his dad when he came back and won that one, the fourth one. But that was kind of Jamal. Like, he didn't think he'd be able to get back after that ACL and win that quick. There's no way. He didn't know what was going to happen after that injury, man. So it's just amazing how he bounced back and had the season he did.
Now we look forward to next season, and hopefully they can do it again.
Maybe. What do you guys think?
They'll have the starting lineup intact.
Well, you got Phoenix. You know what they're doing, trying to build a super team to try to compete with us. So you got Bradley Beal.
Phoenix didn't learn, based on that trade, they didn't learn anything about how they lost that series to the Nuggets.
They don't realize that they don't have, first of all, you don't have a defense. You have no defense.
They have no defense and no depth.
You have no defense and you have less depth than you did have now. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I think they're going to get rid of Ayton. I think they're talking about it. They might keep him, but they might do a trade and maybe they might end up trying to pull in some depth that way. But
they might have to.
Yeah, that's going to be the only way you're going to be able to. But even at that point, you get rid of Ayton, who are you going to have? Jokic is going to eat you down in the paint alive. You ain't going to have KD down there trying to, you know what I mean, contain Jokic. So I don't know. That's what the teams are going to have to do now, though, I think. And that's funny because they brought that up. A lot of analysts brought that up, that they think the NBA is going to change now because of Jokic, and it's going to go back into the big man type of game where you're going to need a good center to be able to compete for a title. You know what I mean? That's what they said. They think that it's going to be, the big man's going to be an essential part now, because these last few years, it hasn't been, you know, big men that have gotten you over the hump and got the wins. It's been guards. It's been Steph Curry's. It's been LeBron's. It's been, you know what I mean? Those type of players. It hasn't been a big man league since, you know, Shaq and maybe a little bit after. So Jokic is going to transit, you know what I mean? He's going to change that.
When you have big guys that can do what they do with the passing, the shooting, you know, the rebounding, the triple doubles, all of that. If you have big guys that can do that, then you're kind of, you don't know how are you going to defend that? You can't really defend it. Like it's like the tight end position in the NFL, right? Like they're a mismatch anywhere they are on the field, right? Because there's nobody big enough or fast enough to keep up with them.
Yeah,
it's that same thing. It's like, well, I guess you have to put two people on them, and then with Jokic, with basketball, then he just passes it off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. You put zone on Jokic, he's gonna pick you apart and he's gonna score all day long. You can't zone Jokic. It's 1-on-1 and double team that dude. That's the only chance you got. And even then, you don't really have a chance. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know, man. And you said, I think,
based on the team. I mean, if you pass it out based on the team that they surrounded him with, I mean, what do you do at this point? And that's really what teams we're facing this year and what they're going to have to face moving forward.
And Sackor had said best passing big man earlier. Like, that dude's up in the conversation for, like, best passer. You know what I mean? Like, seen,
absolutely.
Like, ever. Best passer. Like,
absolutely.
He's in that conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Period.
The dude is making passes that it's just ridiculous, dude. It's ridiculous how you have that vision on the court. I mean, you could say Magic, you could say all these other people, but the fact is, this dude's a 7-footer doing these passes, so he's able to reach over. He's able to do the lobs down the court too. He does that consistently. How many times? I forget what game that was, but he lobbed it down the court like 3 or 4 times in a row. You know what I mean? Like, he has some of the best vision I've ever seen on the court. Honestly, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It is amazing to watch.
Yeah, it makes me want to go watch some of their games, man.
Oh heck yeah, you ain't lying, man.
I'd have to.
I don't know. Did they put out a DVD yet where they have like it's like a highlight?
They probably will.
Oh, yeah, I don't think they have yet, but I bet they will. That's something you got to do.
Yeah.
I'll be getting it. Well, I think we'll all be getting it.
I think I have to.
Yeah.
That's something. Yeah.
Because I've never seen one of those, because our team has never won one.
Right. Exactly.
What do you think, fellas? What's the chances back to back?
I think they're pretty good, to be honest.
Yeah.
I really do.
It's
I
tough.
mean, the only person that we might lose is Bruce Brown, and that's So, but outside of that, their lineup's going to be intact next year. So,
and you lose Bruce Brown,
they'll have the target on their back. But I mean,
if they stay healthy,
if they still healthy, that's the thing.
Yep.
If they still stay healthy, there's no reason why they can't be in this position again next year.
I think so. I think you're right. I think we got a good chance. I think the statistics show that there hasn't really been a back-to-back since I believe the Lakers. But I don't know.
Warriors.
Was it the Warriors? Sorry. Was it the Warriors? Warriors back-to-back. Yeah, Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
So, like if the Warriors can do it, are you kidding me? This team, we'll see what's up. Obviously the Warriors got better as well with Chris Paul. So that's one thing.
Did they though? I think Chris Paul's an old man now.
Yeah, I think he's an old man too, but you got to admit he's still averaging. I think he's averaging 14 or 15 points a game, handful of assists, and you know what I mean. So he's not. It's not anybody that he's not a liability by any means. I mean, and Jordan Poole was tearing that team apart. So to me, I think they did get better.
They had to make that trade.
Yeah,
they had to.
That's
a good point about Jordan Poole. There's a lot of people were saying he was
tearing them apart.
That locker room was in shambles.
That's what I mean. That's a night and day difference compared to Nuggets. The Nuggets compared to them. That's what I'm saying about the team atmosphere and everything. Right. That's one thing. That team over there could have easily competed with us. You get what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't say that way. Yeah. I still think we would have beat them. We have a better team, but they could have easily took it to 6 to 7 games against us. You know what I mean? Yeah. But there's no way, not with the locker room the way it is. So I do think they got better with that trade, honestly, just because they got that particular cancer out of the locker room. And
exactly.
Not that he was a cancer, but that atmosphere that he was in, that he was never going to forgive Draymond for what happened, and it would leak through the entire team.
I think his head got too. From what I hear, his head got, when they won the championship last year. And he got that huge contract. Yep. His head got a little big.
Big time. And that's why Draymond punched him, was his head. You know what I mean?
He said there were a couple. They said there were a couple of instances before that, and Draymond pretty much had enough of his mouth. And
I'm sure many other people wanted to do it too. Draymond was just the only one that did it, probably because you know what I mean. You're gonna shove him like that, you better be ready. Dude, everybody knows you don't shove somebody like that in a fight. Give me a break, bro. You shove somebody like that, you better be ready to get decked. You don't push like that.
Did you see that spoof of those guys made of the punch and everything?
Oh, no.
Send it to you.
Was it funny?
It's so funny. The guy who plays Draymond is amazing. You guys are going to laugh your ass. It's so funny.
It was a heck of a punch, I'm not going to lie. Nice little come up.
Oh yeah, it was.
Nice we don't have to worry about punches. We champs.
No, you dang right, man. Shoot,
you're right.
I can't believe I'm looking over at Bob's hat. I'm looking at Sackor's hat. Just the logo. It doesn't even matter what, you know what I mean? Doesn't matter what hat we're wearing the Nuggets right now. Last year at this time of year, we couldn't wear the Nuggets. We couldn't wear the Nuggets this time of year for the last 30 some odd years since we've all been born, because we haven't been able to be proud at this part of year. You know what I mean? We'll be recovering.
It's June.
That's what I'm saying. June. Our Nuggets hats were far back in the closet, getting dusted all over. You know what I mean? We're out there freaking
ready for the NFL season.
You're darn right. We're dusting off the Broncos hats and for Bob, the Chiefs. Ooh.
Fucking Chiefs. Yeah, okay.
Well, I don't dust it off. I keep it in the.
Oh, please, but Sackor, did you see that photo he put?
I probably believe.
You see that photo he put? He had the Nuggets hat underneath the Chiefs hat, bro. And he said, "I do what I want with my championship hats." Bro, are you kidding me? That's disgusting, bro. That's like putting some dirty underwear on your clean undies, bro. Putting some dirty boxers all up on your clean boxers. That's what you just did right there. Some doo-doo boxers. You just put doo-doo boxers on your clean boxers. That's what you did right there.
It's the championship rack. That's what it is. It's where all my championship teams
doo-doo, bro.
Doesn't matter where they're at. They're all champions, right?
Well, we're the most current champs. We are the you know what I mean?
That's how you should have put it on.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. We are the most recent champs. Give me a break. The Chiefs are old news, bro. That's the past.
They haven't even started the year. Hasn't
We're kicking up old dust, bro. We're talking about the truth, bro. We're talking about the current.
Seriously,
that's old, bro. That's old. We on the current events right here, bro. What are you doing, man? This is like Bob's trying to teach history, and we're teaching current events.
Seriously.